Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to our virtual panel. On behalf of the National Association of Latino Healthcare Executives, we would like to thank you for joining Breaking Through, Crafting Your Legacy in Healthcare and Beyond. I'm Xavier Villarreal, and I'm the CEO of Hillcrest Medical Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've served in this role for over 4 years, but I've been in healthcare for over 26 years. I've been lucky over my 26-year career to have a number of Latino and Latina healthcare executives encourage me and serve as mentors. I'm particularly glad to have found and become a part of the National Association of Latino Healthcare Executives, where I've been active for the last 7 years. I currently serve as the chair-elect and am honored to be a part of that organization. It is a pleasure to be here on behalf of NALE. NALE is a national organization led by Latino and Latina leaders of hospitals and healthcare organizations, as well as experts in the field of health policy and practice. NALE was founded in 2005 to increase Latino and Latina representation in hospitals and health systems in the United States. Our goal is to create a future workforce of highly talented healthcare executives who can meet the challenge of delivering and improving healthcare in our diverse communities. NALE's La Mesa Emerging Leaders Program provides an important and safe platform to convene and connect diverse leaders with students and early careers from across the country. La Mesa gives back, guides, and supports those who have the interest and potential to advance to executive suite positions. La Mesa wouldn't be possible without the support of our national sponsors. We thank you for your continued support towards our mission of promoting health equity in Latino communities. We'd also like to thank Dr. Harvey Castro, author of Success Reinvention, whose book played a pivotal role in our La Mesa program. Thank you for joining. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. And now I'll hand it over to Elizabeth Godinez.
Thank you, Xavier. Thank you for all of your support tonight. We are excited for tonight's conversation. I'm Elizabeth Godinez. I'm the program co-chair for La Mesa Emerging Leaders, and I'm a senior project manager at Vizient. I'm co-moderating tonight's panel with a fellow La Mesa alum, Arthur Soto. We are excited you are here with us to hear our La Mesa 2023 cohort share insights on breaking barriers and crafting a legacy in healthcare. Now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome them to our virtual stage. First, we have Chanel Bowers. Chanel, can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your career?
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. My name is Chanel Bowers, and I am a graduate level master's in healthcare administration student at Concordia University, Irvine. Go Eagles. I have been working in healthcare for the past 10 years, and I absolutely love it. I'm currently working at Hoag Hospital Foundation in Newport Beach, California.
Thank you, Chanel. Next, we have Sarah Rodriguez-Schottland.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Rodriguez-Schottland. I'm a recent graduate from the University of New Mexico in the Health Administration program. I'm also currently working as a program coordinator for the University of New Mexico at Project ECHO. It's good to be here.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, we have Christina Martin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Martin. I am currently a graduate student at Texas Women's University, where I'm pursuing my master's in healthcare administration. I'm currently at Texas Children's Hospital here in Houston, Texas. I work as a clinical research associate that I've been doing for about 2 years, and all total, I've been in healthcare for about 5. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Next, we have Bo Bastento.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bo Bastento. I'm a recent graduate from the University of New Mexico with my master's in health administration. I currently work as a healthcare surveyor supervisor for the New Mexico Department of Health, and I have about 14 years of healthcare experience at this time as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Bo. Next, we have Joanna Ponce.
Hi everyone, my name is Joanna Ponce. I am currently a second-year administrative fellow at Freighter on the Medical College of Wisconsin. I am also serving as the interim division administrator in neurology for our inpatient division. I attained my bachelor's degree and master's degree from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and I've been in healthcare for about 5 years. Excited to be here.
Thank you, Joanna. And we have Augusto Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Augusto Gonzalez. I was born in Mendoza, Argentina, and I'm entering my second year as an MHA candidate at the Virginia Commonwealth University. I also attended VCU for my bachelor in health, physical, and exercise science with a minor in chemistry. And in my career journey, I am currently finishing up my summer internship in the Department of Neurosurgery at VCU and entering my fellowship and residency search at the university.
Thank you, Augusto. Welcome, everyone. During the La Mesa program, we read Success Reinvention by Dr. Harvey Castro. And in his book, he talked about finding your why and finding your purpose when establishing goals in order to succeed. What inspired you to pursue a career in healthcare? What was your purpose? And we'll start with Christina.
Sorry. Yeah. So I actually did not want to start in healthcare. I wanted to be a police officer and get into forensic investigation. I took an internship at an outside county outside of Houston, and I actually realized in that internship that I did not want to be a police officer and get into law enforcement the way I thought. So after talking with my mentor at the time and discussing a lot of things that I felt I saw myself in the future, I figured we both came to the conclusion that healthcare was a really good fit for myself and aligned right after kind of with my goals and what kind of leader I wanted to be. So.
One of the like Christina, I also did not want to start off in healthcare. I was actually a sports journalism major. Unfortunately, at that time, I had a family member, close family member that passed away, and I never really experienced, I guess, death like that. And seeing how it devastated my friends and family and stuff like that, I wanted to change. And so at the time, I was naive enough to think, going into a healthcare field, that I could prevent this from happening to anybody else. And so I became a firefighter EMT. And so I did that for several years. And then I became a paramedic, where I worked in one of the busiest 911 systems in the US in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then after getting my master's and educating myself more on health, to kind of give back still in the public sector.
And like Bo, family really influenced my decision to pursue or have an interest in healthcare. I remember from a very early age, I would be that child in the doctor's office trying to translate medical treatment terminology for my parents. And as many of us may know, medical terminology in Spanish and just kind of how Spanish is very different. So it was very challenging. And also hearing my grandfather try to coordinate his care. He was physically disabled and needed to coordinate his transportation to the clinic, and just really kind of having that exposure to the barriers that they face within healthcare made me really want to be an advocate for better healthcare and better health experience for families that may be in similar situations.
I love that so much. Public health and health disparities have always been really important to me. And so I pursued a degree in psychology. And after I graduated from George Washington University, I worked as an administrative assistant at New York Presbyterian Hospital. And that's really where I gained a lot of exposure and experience with a lot with the community and community health and population health. And that's something that really drew me into the healthcare field. But it was actually my supervisor at the time, the director of community health, who was a wonderful mentor. He was a wonderful supervisor to me and was able to help me see things in myself that I didn't see at the time and expose me to different areas of healthcare that I hadn't previously thought about. And so that's really what inspired me to continue working in healthcare, was giving back to the community and helping the patient population that we were serving.
What inspired me to pursue a career in healthcare was the inaccessibility I saw my mother and father have when we moved to the United States. For my family, going to see a doctor usually meant that someone was close to dying, and we avoided going to see them at all costs because we were uninsured. So, being a first generation college student, I wasn't too informed about career pathways in which I could make a difference in healthcare. I thought the only way to change the challenges that my family faced was by being a direct patient provider. And this changed early in my career as I took an internship I did not want to take, and I stumbled across healthcare administration.
So mine was kind of similar. I'm the first in my household and my family to pursue a career in medicine. I started off as an EMT because it seemed like a good thing to do, but I didn't know much. And that kind of grew my interest. So I went on to medical school, and that was amazing. But then it didn't work out. And I had to come back to the States and retake all of my college all of my college classes that I took for my first bachelor's. And then I went to PA school after a lot of work. And then I got sick and I had to pivot pretty quickly. And I found the career of health administration, which has been so rewarding. And I've been learning so much.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing your purpose with us and what inspired you to be in the healthcare industry. It sounds like a lot of us have pivoted and still want to hold true to what our goals are, and that is to help the community, to help our family, and to provide for communities. And so when we're going through that phase of finding a career and maybe just trying to pivot into a new department, we talked about building a professional network in La Mesa. I'm wondering if you can share some strategies that you used to build your professional network, like how you build a mentorship. Augusto, can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you. So, the biggest stepping stone to building my own professional network was really being accepting to those who wanted to help. Being from the Latino community, I oftentimes played into the machismo and not wanting to ask anybody for help. I thought I would climb up in the world of healthcare with my head down, facing the challenges in front of me day by day. And I now know that healthcare is a team sport. After receiving my first few mentors, I learned about how important it can be to have someone to relay their experiences, and the benefit of having a professional network is really having that relationship with people who have gone through what you will go through, or even helping others and go through similar experiences as your own, and being able to grow from the feedback they provide.
My situation is very similar to Gusto in the fact that not being receptive and accepting of help. If you ask my friends and family, I'm very stubborn, for better or worse. But allowing people to guide me, because like Augusto said, this is a team effort, and just being resistant to that help and support really doesn't really get you anywhere. And so La Mesa for me has not only helped me network, not only in general, and especially the La Mesa program network, but also by helping me get a mentor, which is something that's very valuable and important to me, which is only going to help me grow as I continue on with my career.
I love that. Thank you, Will and Augusto, for sharing your experiences with networking. I think I have very similar sentiments as well, of not wanting to reach out and get help and kind of wanting to keep your head down and do it yourself. But I've noticed that ever since starting my master's program that I've tried to get involved in so many things just as much as I can. And that's been kind of the key, I think, is getting involved in NALI, getting involved in your local chapter, in the events and the panels and the programs that they put on, getting involved with ACHE, anything that you can really get involved with your student council, get involved. There's a place for you there. People want to hear about your experiences. They're valuable. People want to hear your stories, and your mentors. There are mentors there that want to reach out to you and help you and guide you on your career path. And I think you cannot be what you don't see. And sometimes it's not always in plain sight. We have to reach out and get that help from those mentors and get that career advice so that we can position ourselves better. Healthcare is such a small world, and it's wonderful to have a family. We refer to ourselves as Nali and La Mesa, La Familia, and I think that it truly does feel that way when you get to know others who are so passionate about what you are passionate about.
Thank you. So I'm hearing ask for help, put yourself out there, be involved. And so I think back to when I was an early careerist and how nervous I was to figure out where I wanted to go like after your bachelor's. Do you jump right into your career? Do you go to your master's? So I'm curious, Joanna, if you can share some advice you have for early careerists out there who are trying to find the right job opportunity.
Yes, some advice that I can provide for early careers and trying to find the right job opportunity would be to really be proactive in the search. There's, applications like Handshake and LinkedIn where you're constantly seeing posts regarding maybe something in your area, location-wise, also your area of interest, as well as being self-aware. I think self-awareness is key when it comes to growth. So being self-aware in terms of your strengths and your weaknesses to either highlight them or improve them. Additionally, I think another suggestion would be, and sometimes it can be scary, but to reach out to leadership within your employer or HR to learn about job opportunities that can grow you, as well as use that time to kind of network and hopefully look for those mentorship opportunities that were mentioned in the previous question. And lastly, I would say to look for organizations like NALI or La Mesa, where you can create networks and learn from leaders like those who have supported us in this cohort to learn, grow, and just really learn about other opportunities out there.
I absolutely agree. I think it's about learning and being open to things. For example, I got a first job as a project coordinator, and it's not where I thought it would be, but helped me get my foot in the door. And from there, I was able to grow and kind of see what was around me in that company by making one-on-one meetings and networking within the organization. And then also joining different committees and taking advantage of like different volunteer opportunities that work does provide to expand. And now job opportunities are opening up, and I think it's so special.
Yeah, thank you, Joanna and Sarah. I think that is great advice from the both of you. I know personally, I was pretty I didn't really know where to go in early in my career, and I feel like I'm still early in my career. But one thing I did do was I told myself, "What are your career goals?" And it's a rough draft. It won't be a final draft for probably years to come. But I figured out what my values and my interests were. And I started there. And so from here, now I kind of have a sense of direction on where to go. Or if those change later on, at least I know those are, it's my laying foundation. I also would like to say, I know Joanna mentioned like LinkedIn. I know when I did is I looked at people's profiles, and in the positions that they had, I kind of see what took them to get there. What certifications did they get? What schooling did they get? And I kind of just figured, okay, I should probably, if that's somewhere I want to be, this is probably some of the things that I also need to get there. So that's what I did.
Thank you, Christina. All of you, great advice. So I hear LinkedIn, Handshake. I hear just get your foot in the door and see what you like, establish your career goals. Xavier, I'm curious, do you have any advice to share for early careers who are looking for job opportunities?
Yeah, I think all of those. Christina really said it very well in regards to making a plan and making it flexible. I think patience is very important. Being able to prove yourself in a role, and have those plans laid out. Then she said something very key. I think really looking at those values. What are your personal values, and how do those match up with the opportunities you're looking for, or the type of organization you're looking for? And definitely organizations like NALED, those connections are so important. One of the things I wish I would have been better at is keeping some of those connections up and finding an opportunity to reach out to some of those connections. It's so critical to, you never know when one of those opportunities may open up, and so keeping those connections up on an ongoing basis that you make over time is key.
Thank you. That's great advice. I know we've all connected through La Mesa and check in with each other just to make sure everyone's doing okay and support each other when we're in finals or are up for a job interview. But I'm glad Xavier mentioned about the organization, and does the organization's values match what you're looking for in your career? And one of the things that we talked about at our La Mesa program was really self-care and making sure that you're okay, especially with what's going on in the world right now. And so, Bo, how do you manage work-life balance while also striving for career advancement?
Well, that's a difficult one because, work-life balance, especially in 2023, it seems like an impossible thing to do. But especially as somebody that's trying to advance their career, it can be even more difficult. And as an early careerist, we just seem to want more and more and pile on our plate to where, we kind of suffocate ourselves. So sometimes, I know for me, you have to take a step back. It's who you surround yourself with, right? Like I'm fortunate with my friends and family and friends that have become family that they've been there to support me, and I can lean on them. And also for me too, sometimes, to an extent, you have to be a little bit selfish, right? Like you got to do what's right for you. It may not be right for everyone, but you got to go with your gut instinct, your intuition, and, take this class or, apply for this job or network with this person. And that's kind of the route I've taken, which has led me to this point so far, which I'm pretty grateful for.
Yeah, I really think that just like Bo said, going with your gut feeling um, is key. You never know when you're going to take a pivot in career advancement. And that's why it's important to set more smaller, attainable goals that you can reach. And setting these goals through a long period of time, leading to your end goal, helps you celebrate some of those smaller wins. And by doing this, I've really been able to maintain my focus and motivation. And of course, everybody gets overwhelmed at some point. And taking a step back and realizing, hey, I'm more important, and long term, you can still reach these goals. Whatever pivot you have to take, that end goal is not going to leave.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I would like to say that I love the way that mental health is being really really just broadcasted now, because I think self-care is extremely, extremely important. And I do think it's important professionally for you to figure out what it looks like to you. As far as a work-life balance, I know myself, I'm very big on it. Even the smallest tasks for me, just going out to lunch outside or just taking a walk to the inpatient clinic, something like that just gets my mind off of where I'm at and being in a cubicle, or maybe just the overwhelming workload that I have. But I do think that times like that, I'm able to kind of reflect on myself as well. And I do take advantage of that a lot. So that's kind of, I would say that's how I manage a lot of that balance between myself and my job.
Thank you. Taking a lunch outside, I don't know about here in Texas. It's 100 degrees right now. So hopefully in the fall, I can start doing that, because that is one of my things too, Christina, to get outside and enjoy some fresh air. And I want to also talk about another important topic that's trending in healthcare and even different industries, and that's diversity and inclusion. How important is diversity inclusion in the workplace, and what are some steps that early careerists can do to promote it? Joanna, do you have any insight?
Yes, definitely. I believe that diversity and inclusion in the workplace is really critical. And I saw key something with me that one of my mentors told me, which was you can always learn a new skill in the workplace, but you can't always surround yourself with people that make you feel seen and understood. And being someone that moved to a new state and joined an organization where not many of my colleagues look like me or leaders look like me, I immediately felt like an outsider and kind of felt like I had something to prove right off the back. But really voicing the need and desire to be part of people that are like-minded in terms of supporting diversity and inclusion really allowed me to get exposure to that within the organization, and actually presented myself with opportunities to get involved in pipeline programs for students within the Milwaukee area to have that career exposure that I didn't have at an early age. So just voicing the need and desire and getting involved, and if something doesn't exist, create it and find other people that are like-minded in terms of supporting these missions.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. I agree with Joanna, though, that being seen, feeling heard, feeling included, those are all such important aspects of healthcare and healthcare delivery. And I think that it's absolutely critical for a healthcare organization to embrace diversity and inclusion. It's power for creativity, for innovation, for a respectful environment. The way that we celebrate our staff, their backgrounds, their perspectives, not only boosts success for the organization, but also fosters empathy and greater understanding of others and our differences, leading to stronger teamwork, better problem solving. So I would give advice to any early careerists to educate yourselves, lead by example, speak up against bias, support diverse hiring, practices at your workplace, and engage in employee resource groups or ERGs. Advocate for inclusive policies, attend workshops, and most of all, just be open to learning about diversity and inclusion. There's so many different definitions of diversity and so many different ways to celebrate it. And so your actions matter, and we can all come together to be catalysts for positive change at work.
I absolutely agree with both Joanna and Chanel. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is extremely important. Growing up, I struggled to learn how to read, and the school administrators told my parents that they did not expect people from my area of the town to do well. And I was only in third grade. So now, as we fast forward all these years later, and as we're entering the workforce and developing our careers, that still has an impact. So I think it's really important to see somebody who looks like yourself in those positions where you want to get to, where your goals are, because it lets you know that you too can be successful. As an early careerist, I became part of the DE&I committee, and I'm currently trying to start an ERG group, or an employee resource group, for our organization. And it's so important because here in New Mexico, we have 51% of our population that identify as Latino, Chicano, and Hispanic. But our population is not represented here by leadership. So I feel like us as early careerists, it's up to us to kind of help that change move along. And it's also what inspired me to start a knowledge chapter in New Mexico. And I think it's all of us together. So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's very powerful, and stays within the theme that everyone is saying, that you need to put yourself out there, embrace change, show who you are, and stand up against bias. And like Chanel said, like, promote those diversity and inclusion policies, look for inclusivity. Um, and I think that all of you have done a great job to move that forward. Um, and now it sounds, and sometimes it may sound risky, and so it may at times feel uncomfortable. So I know that's important to grow in your career. So Bo, I wondered if you could share a moment when you had to take a calculated risk so that you could grow in your career.
Oh no, absolutely. And risks. Obviously, every day we all encounter risks, and for me, like I said, getting into healthcare started with on a whim because I had an emotional family experience. But I think that without me even knowing it as a younger self, just getting into healthcare really opened my eyes, and that was one of the greatest probably pivots that I've done and risks because then the next calculated risk seeing the problems that I've had in healthcare as a paramedic, that led me to just jump in and go get my master's in health administration so I could understand the complexities of our healthcare system. Because like Sarah mentioned, in New Mexico, we do have a lot of problems. We're not well known for a lot of good things. It's unfortunate, but there is a lot of issues. So that risk, which then eventually took the next calculated risk, which led me to Denali, and being with Sarah, developing the chapter to grow personally and professionally is a risk I've taken.
Similar to Bo, my risk also kind of led me here to Nali and La Mesa. So a calculated risk that I had to take was when deciding what kind of path to pursue post graduation of my MHA. I felt like I had two options: was either jump into the workforce or apply for a fellowship. And for some background, I was working at Ascension, Illinois, a hospital in Chicago, and I felt at home there. I felt comfortable. I knew that I would be supported post graduation. And I was doing an internship and really admired and appreciated the learning experience that it provided for me. So that really wanted or motivated me to pursue a fellowship. And I was really scared to ask this team that has been supportive for a letter of recommendation and to, kind of letting them know that, hey, I won't be onboarding post internship, but they were just equally as supported and rooting me on. And I'm glad that I pursued this opportunity because I still have my team back in Chicago, back at home, but now I have a greater network here, greater skills. And if I ever do decide to go back, I know that they'll welcome me with open hands.
That's awesome, Joanna. I think for me, I took it very early on when I decided to go into healthcare. I was very, very set on being a police officer and being in law enforcement. And so hearing the last semester before I graduate from school that, oh, may not be what I want to do. It was scary. It was very, very scary. It's always something I want to do. I knew nothing else but law enforcement. And I do think that because I decided to take a dip in that pool, I am swimming in multiple, just multiple pools now. At this point, I think I'm doing very well. And I also would like to thank my cohort La Mesa. I feel like they have definitely helped me out a lot and opened up a lot of doors for me. So I really do appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing that. I heard all of the process of thinking it through and seeing is this the best option for me, and all of you just taking a chance and trusting your purpose and sticking to your goal of just moving forward and wanting to stick to your goals. And so with our last question, now that we've talked about your journey as an early careerist, I wonder if you could talk to your younger self and think back to who you were at that time and where you are now, what kind of advice would you give yourself? So Sarah, can you share a little bit of what you would tell your younger self?
Absolutely. First of all, these are tears of joy and being thankful for this journey and experience and being part of this La Mesa cohort. But above all else, you are enough. You have nothing to prove to those who may not have believed in you. So by following that inquisitive attitude or by following your why, which mine is a love of learning, it'll guide you to better and greater things. From this,
Yeah.
find a place where you feel accepted and empowered. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And yeah, 100% believe in yourself and follow your why. I also think it's very important to question change and be curious while you're early in your career. You don't have to know everything, and that's key. Any role you go into, you're not expected to come in knowing everything that the CEO of your organization is going to know. You are there to learn. And that is one thing that really opened doors for me, is realizing that I'm not expected to know everything day one of my role, and use these opportunities to learn. Now is the time to ask for clarification. And although you may seem incompetent in the moment, it's your experience, and you don't seem incompetent because it's your effort to learn that is going to push you to grow.
I really love both those answers. Thank you, Sarah and Augusto. If I could go back and give my younger self, some advice as I started my career journey, it would probably first and foremost be to believe in my abilities. Imposter syndrome tries to undermine our confidence constantly, and it would be to remember that my skills and experiences are valid, and to embrace the uniqueness and the value that we all bring to the table. I think I would also tell my younger self to not hesitate in voicing my thoughts and ideas. I've often been sometimes the youngest one in the room, the only female in the room, and sometimes I've let that, kind of I've let that stop me. I've let that be a barrier to lending my voice to the conversation, but feeling heard is essential. So I would tell my younger self to find my voice and share my perspective without fear, and to remember that insights are valuable and that we can all contribute no matter where we are on our journey.
Yeah, just one of the things I would say, I mentioned it earlier, is this importance of connections. And I've been lucky to have a number of mentors in my career, and I would have probably told myself to do a better job at keeping and maintaining some of those connections. But more importantly, probably looking for mentors that maybe didn't fit me exactly. And I've had a number of Latino and Latina mentors. I've had folks that maybe were very close to my personality. So really looking for someone that was maybe different from me, to provide a really true, a different perspective from a mentorship, I think would have been something that I would have told my younger self to do.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your stories with us and your insights. They're very valuable and they're very powerful. All of you are valid. Like Chanel said, all of you are valid and important and have a story to tell. And if you look at the comments, you have a community. So you have people supporting you. And I'm sure your stories and insights have helped others feel supported. And so this ends our moderated section. So now I'm going to hand it over to Arthur Soto for Q&A. So if you have any questions for our panelists, please go ahead and enter them in the chat.
Hey everybody, my name is Arthur Soto. I'm a La Mesa alum from last year, 2022. I obtained my bachelor's from Pomona College in neuroscience, and as of the 14th, so 3 days ago, I obtained my dual master's degree in business administration and healthcare administration from Texas Women's University. Officially, I walked in May, but I officially got it now. And here I am. I will be leading off the Q&A section with our lovely panelists here. Just to start off, I know either if it was through La Mesa or NALI or through organizations inside or outside of the workplace, one of the key themes we touched on was mentorship. So I wanted to ask you guys, what role does mentorship play in career development, and how can young professionals find mentors?
Well, mentorship is very important, right? Personally, professionally, we're not born with the answers. People make mistakes. So having somebody kind of someone or other people take you under their wing and kind of guide you is super huge throughout every aspect of life. And, sometimes you'll meet people that aren't interested in doing that, and that's okay too. But you will find some ones that are going to help you guide you to where you need to be. And it can be challenging to find, myself included. But I would say one of the biggest things is research where you want to go, or kind of have an idea where you want to go, whether that be an organization or a career field, and do whatever you can to just kind of get started in it, whether it be volunteering or whatever, because you'll meet people along that path to help you get to where you need to be, who will end up becoming your friends and or mentors.
Thank you, Bo. I definitely agree that mentorship is very crucial for career development. From personal experience, I feel like mentorship has opened new doors and connected me with the resources that I normally wouldn't have access to or even be aware of. One of my mentors in my employer, Rochelle Webb-Dixon, which is very involved in NALI, connected me to the organization, which then led to La Mesa, and connected with you all, my cohort here, where we all hopefully feel like a family and can, although we're all diverse, we all have like-mindeds in terms of wanting to grow within healthcare and support each other. And I think ways that you can find mentors is through organizations like NALI, as well as volunteering, as mentioned prior, as well as reaching out to leaders on LinkedIn. I truly believe that you miss all the shots that you don't take. So although it can be scary, send someone a message that you might hear back, you might not, but again, just take that risk.
Yeah, and as I had said earlier today, being a first generation Latino, oftentimes I felt uncomfortable asking for help. And it's truly amazing to see how open the healthcare community is. I believe early careerists can truly benefit from finding someone later in their career. And this person doesn't necessarily have to be in your dream role. It can be someone with 2, 3, however many more years of experience than you that has gone through something similar and can truly relate and help you grow through giving you feedback. Leveraging networks with similar people and getting involved, as Chanel had said earlier today, is key. Through Nali, I was able to find like-minded people all over in terms of where they are in their career and truly find a family in which I felt accepted. Sharing experiences week in and week out. We were also paired with great mentors, and I was able to meet other Latinos from all across the United States.
Absolutely. Thank you again for sharing your experiences, not only here, but also during the main session of the panel. What I'm hearing a lot of is trying new things, experiencing new challenges, and that kind of leads me to my next question of how can early careerists overcome the fear of failure and embrace new challenges?
Yeah, so I mean, I think as far as failure goes, I think the biggest thing is to shift your perspective on failure. A lot of times we see failure as a really bad thing, and it could bring us down. It can make you not even want to try again. But see the cup half full and not half empty. Think of failure as a lesson learned. Some of the biggest lessons in life I learned through failure, and I know not to do it again. And so I don't see that completely as a bad thing. And I do think that professionally, having that in the back of your head will take you very far. And you're a human. I do think that giving yourself grace and talking to yourself with kindness will also go a very long way. So when you are on the verge of embracing something that's new, that's different, just remember to tell yourself that you are the best version of yourself at this moment, and you are going to continue to be the best version of yourself no matter what happens from here on out. So I do think that that's some of the advice I would definitely give to early careerists.
I really love that idea, Christina, of sharing and shifting your perspective. But I would also like to add to that by saying embrace it. I mean, failure is an amazing learning opportunity. I always like Denzel Washington, and he says, fall forward as long you can get up, as long as you can look up. And I think that's just great. From my own experience and my own career, it didn't go linearly like I thought it would. I started one thing, tried something, it didn't work, tried something else, built. And failure is really how you think about it. But if we think about embracing these learning opportunities, it's going to make us so strong and it'll drive us forward. So don't really think about it as failure, but as a great learning experience.
Absolutely. And again, through your experiences, whether you're currently an early careerist or were early careerists back then, and to those who are potentially early careerists now who are watching, what skills do you believe are crucial for early careerists to focus on when developing?
Yeah, so I think skills that are crucial for early careers to focus on developing are being an active listener, being inquisitive, and being adaptable. I believe that being an active listener really allows you to learn from those around you, from leaders, especially those that have been in healthcare and have years of experience. And being inquisitive not only also helps you with learning, but it really allows you to demonstrate to others that you're willing to learn and maybe take on new challenges. And lastly, I think being adaptable really shows that you're flexible and adaptable and able to pivot and to be able to achieve goals, especially when many of us know that projects aren't, or many journeys aren't linear, and being able to, again, be adaptable and get back up is really crucial.
I agree with you, Joanna, and also Christina, who said that we should think of failure as a lesson learned. Growth takes time, and setbacks are going to be part of the process. So I think early careerists need to embrace failures as opportunities to learn and improve. That every step, even if it feels small, contributes to your growth. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your achievements along the way. We talked about this in one of our La Mesa sessions, that sometimes we don't celebrate our achievements along the way. Sometimes we've just grown up in this culture of not celebrating our achievements unless they're huge achievements. But feel free to celebrate some of your smaller achievements along the way. You're capable of more than you realize, and I think that we need to remember that no matter where we are in our journey, it's unique. It's unique to you. So to embrace it with confidence and resilience, and that adaptability that Joanna was talking about as well.
Yes, Chanel, I do remember that conversation we had about how we don't give ourselves enough credit. And I do think that that is extremely important for an early careerist to develop self-reflection and self-awareness skills, especially if you continue on in your career and you think about being any kind of leader or leading a crowd or a team. I think that giving yourself the strength to understand your emotions, what gives you the perfect balance, what really just gives you a really clear mind, will allow you to be the best version, not only for your job, but for yourself, your family, anything personal outside. And I think that should be the goal at all times. So I would definitely say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And not only are sorry, I'm a little bit lost here. Not only about important values when it comes to early careerists are important, but what skills do you believe are crucial for early careerists to focus on developing? My apologies. Not only are skills important, but are there any specific certifications or courses you recommend for early careerists to enhance their profiles?
I think it kind of just depends, what field you're getting into or where you're trying to go. I don't know if there's one, perfect certification, but I think the biggest thing is, doing your research and putting yourself out there. For us during La Mesa, we were given the great opportunity to get our Lean Six Sigma yellow belt, which, I'm hopeful to continue on with the green belt and black belt. Like for me, in that type of data analysis for healthcare, that's something that'll benefit me the most. So I think for people that, they just need to see what is needed and go beyond that to make yourself stand out in a competitive workforce like we have today.
I couldn't have said it better than Bo. It's really to see the needs of your organization and where you can get involved and help the organization to achieve its mission, to achieve its goals. Where can you help yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And where do you want to be? And so there's so many different certifications out there. There's project management, there's Lean Six Sigma, and all of them will help you as you continue on in your career. And so I do feel very fortunate to have been part of La Mesa and to have gone through the white belt and the yellow belt trainings. I just know that they are going to help me in my role and as I continue post-graduation, to be able to improve efficiencies and eliminate waste and all of the things that we learned. So I'm incredibly grateful to NALI, to our sponsors who made that possible, because I've already seen so many benefits just from getting certified. So thank you.
Absolutely. And what inspired you to become involved with La Mesa, and what was the most important takeaway for you? What are the benefits of La Mesa? I know you guys touched on this, but if you can expand a little bit more.
So I originally heard of La Mesa via our local chapter, and it's been an amazing opportunity to learn and to grow. Kind of like we already said, we're a familia, and developing our professional skills, like we already mentioned, our Lean Six Sigma white belt, our yellow belt, reading the books. I mean, this has been amazing. And then family. It's amazing having a community around you who are there for you, who help you. And it's been an amazing experience.
I agree with Sarah 100%. Not we've been given a lot of great opportunities, but, like Sarah said, family, we all have the same mission, which is, bringing diversity and, equity to healthcare, no matter where we are. And I know that, being in my local chapter, it's great to get back to the community and network. But one of the biggest things, with La Mesa is, meeting all of my classmates and everybody from all the other chapters to just see, how big this really goes and how awesome of an organization and, mission this is to be a part of.
Absolutely. And we have one last question here before we run out of time. What advice do you have for early careers in adapting and thriving in the new workplace culture? And this is for Sarah.
So I would say be open to meeting people. Like I said earlier, make sure you make those one-on-one connections. Like everyone said already, have those networks, develop those networks. I know networking can be scary and saying hello to people isn't always the most fun thing to do, but take an interest in them, take an interest in what they're doing, because you never know what career might be around the corner. I never thought I would be here or have a degree in MHA, but it's been one of the most rewarding things.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for all of your experiences and stories. They're definitely important. And I'm, again, glad that you're all here sharing it with everybody. And now I'll hand it back to Xavier Villarreal for closing remarks.
Thank you, Arthur. Hey, wow. Thank you all so much to the panelists. I saw one comment online about the future of NILA looks very positive, and I would agree with that. The future of NILA and the future of healthcare looks very positive. I want to thank the panelists for really opening up and sharing some of their personal experiences with us. That was very much appreciated. So thank you to the moderators, the panelists, the audience for really participating in our third annual La Mesa Emerging Leaders panel. I want to congratulate all of our panelists on their completion of the La Mesa program. I do want to hit on a couple announcements before we close out this evening. We talked a lot about mentorship and connections this evening. A great opportunity to do that is at our National Association of Latino Healthcare Executives Leadership Summit, which is coming up in a month on September 13th through the 15th in Seattle, Washington. There is a link in the chat. Please follow that. You could also look on the NILA website. We have a lot of information out there. It's a great opportunity to network and hear a number of great speakers just like we did this evening. So please, we'd love to see you in Seattle this year. Please come out and join us for that. Particularly if you'd like some additional information on La Mesa, you've seen the link come up in the program this evening. Please take advantage. Reach out to some of the individual panelists or some of the other folks that have participated in La Mesa. But follow that link in the chat. Get some more information about La Mesa. It's a great amazing program and one that you will not regret participating in. So if you'd like some more information, please check on that chat and check on that, click on that link. I want to just say thank you for the participation this evening. Thank you to all of our panelists. We are so glad you were able to join us this evening. We hope to see you in Seattle. Thank you very much and have a great evening.